Hello students, in this class we will learn an important topic of statistic is test of hypothesis. To understand this topic we need some terminology, that is, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is a statement about the parameters of one or more populations, or a testable statement that predicts the relationship between two or more variables and serve guide for study, or a testable statement about a population based on sample data. These are the three definitions related to hypothesis. The decision making procedure about the hypothesis is called hypothesis testing. What is hypothesis testing here? Decision making procedure about the hypothesis. Generally, hypothesis can also be known as assumption, theory, supposition. These are the similar words for hypothesis. Here, there are two types of hypothesis. One is null hypothesis, second one is alternative hypothesis. Now, what is null hypothesis? A hypothesis which is tested for possible rejection under the assumption, or for applying the test of significance. First we set up a hypothesis which is a definite statement about the population parameter. Such hypothesis, usually a hypothesis of no difference, is called null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is denoted by H naught. So here H naught indicate null hypothesis. Second type of hypothesis is alternative hypothesis. What is alternative hypothesis? Alternative hypothesis mean any hypothesis which is complementary to the null hypothesis is called alternative hypothesis. So alternative hypothesis is denoted by H1. For example, the majority of men in the city are smokers. Second example is teaching methods in both schools are effective. So these are the two examples for hypothesis. One more example is here on null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Example is, if you want to test the null hypothesis that the population has a specified mean mu equals to 20. This is the mean value of the population. That is, the null hypothesis is H naught mu equals to 20. From the above, how we write alternative hypothesis? Alternative hypothesis may be written in three ways. Number one, H1 is mu not equals to 20. Number two, H1 is mu greater than 20. Number three, H1 is mu less than 20. From the above 3 points, we have some important points here. The first point is alternative hypothesis, point number 1, is called two-tailed alternative. And the second point is, the second point above is called right-tailed alternative. third point is the third point above, that is mu less than 20, is called left-tailed alternative. Remember, in alternative hypothesis, not equals to is there, that is two-tailed alternative. Greater than is there, that is right-tailed. Less than is there, that is left-tailed. Now we have an important point here which indicates in red color. The setting of alternative hypothesis is very important to decide whether we have to use a single tail test or two tail test. So alternative hypothesis is very important. Here we have a definition. A procedure for a decision or a procedure for deciding whether to accept or reject a particular hypothesis is called test of a hypothesis. It is also known as test of significance. It is also known as test of significance. And one more definition is there, that is a random variable or a statistic used for testing of hypothesis is called a test statistic. Test statistic is generally is known as a formula. Is used for testing of hypothesis is called test statistic. Now an important subtopic, that is errors in sampling. While testing a given statistical hypothesis, we will encounter typical situations. These typical situations will give two types of errors. That is, number one, type 1 error, number 2, type 2 error. What is type 1 error? What is type 1 error? So type 1 error mean, suppose null hypothesis is rejected when it is true. That is, we may reject null hypothesis H0 when it is true. What is type 2 error? Type 2 error is, we may accept null hypothesis H0 when it is false. So reject when it is true, that is type 1 error. Accept when it is false, that is type 2 error. Suppose here we are going to write the probability of type 1 error, that is P of type 1 error is equal to some value, that is alpha, and the probability of type 2 error, that is P of type 2 error, is equals to beta. Here alpha and beta are called the sizes of type 1 and type 2 errors. From the above discussion, we have an important point here. The probability of type 1 error is also called the level of significance. So what is the level of significance? Probability of type 1 error. And the definition, critical region. What is critical region? Critical region is a region in the sample space S which amounts to rejection of H0 is called the critical region or region of rejection. Or consider the area under the probability curve of the sampling distribution of the test statistic, suppose that is theta, which follows some known distribution. The area under the probability curve is divided into two regions. That two regions are, that is a region of rejection where null hypothesis H0 is rejected, and the region of acceptance where null hypothesis H0 is accepted. In these two regions, the region of rejection of H0 is called critical region. So the area of rejection or area of critical region is equal to level of significance. So level of significance is always denoted by alpha. So alpha indicate the area of rejection, and critical region is always lies on the tails of the distribution.